chugga 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 choo 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 choo.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. I'm going to make it real quick on this one today. I just wanted to go over a few things that I believe make the 8.3 cinematic featuring Wrathion and of course the end cinematic of the N'Zoth raid encounter more interesting than what a lot of people are creating videos for. A lot of the feedback so far has been negative. A lot of people are let down, or they just simply are creating negative reaction videos for views. But one thing I want to do is go over some information here that'll make, in my mind, these cinematics far more interesting. I personally enjoyed them, but I was keeping a lot of other information in mind while I was doing it. So let's just get right to it and talk about the first cinematic. Of course, is the one, the Carapace Fight. We see Wrathion with Xal'atath go to dragon form, fly through the tentacles, ending with him stabbing Xal'atath into the carapace, being knocked away, and then of course the way opening with a void entity coming through and starting the encounter. You know, it's not as cut and dry as that. I don't think Blizzard has done a really good job of tying storyline from years ago coming forward. So first off, we had to look at this from beginning to end. Xal'atath, of course, made the return in 8.1.5. That quest line, she leads us to N'Zoth inside the Crucible of Storms. She greets N'Zoth and introduces us as the Opener, the Truthbringer, and the Torch that lights the way. They had apparently made a bargain. He frees her from the dagger, but keeps the blade, stating that it will serve his will. From there, he gives the gift and talks about what was sunken will rise, and what was sleeping will awake. Of course, we saw that as patches came forth with Nazjatar, and then now with Ny'alotha. So going back to the Ashara encounter, she's defeated, and N'Zoth pulls her, we now know, into Ny'alotha. Conveniently, she kept the blade. I saw other videos, Taliesin talking about this. It's convenient, and it is. It's very convenient. And I think that's because N'Zoth and the Void knew this would play into their plans. They knew Wrathion had been studying them. You could see that with the 8.3 opening quests where we go to Blackwing Descent. They count on him. They understand his moves before he's making them, even with that arrogance that he has. So she essentially gives us the plan, that she was going to use it on N'Zoth to destroy him. It's essentially the enemy giving us what the enemy wants us to do. And Wrathion, I think, being so brash and arrogant, falls for it. So in the cinematic, we see him with it, with the blade, flies forward. Of course, we see him stabbing into the carapace. You can see the eye glowing and absorbing void energies before it blasts and knocked him back. And then that's important, because you can see when he gets to his feet, he looks to his hand and it's gone. The reason that's important is you have to look at the history of that blade. There was a sorceress, Maudgood, who in her final moments, when she needed the dagger the most, it had served her well up to that moment. Right when she needed it, it was gone. The blade serves its own purposes, with Xal'atath in it or not, I think. It did the same with Xando, a troll who it led up the mountain and helped free Thraxi, and then of course he was never seen again. And then the blade made its way to Maudgood. It's not a surprise to me for it to be in Ashar's possession, make its way to Wrathion, him use it, complete its purpose, and then gone. With that in mind, go back, watch it again. I know it wasn't the main one of contention this time, but still, it's a little more interesting when you think about that. And then, of course, we get to the final one, the N'Zoth end cinematic. You know, I was honestly disappointed that people were disappointed in it. But I keep a lot of things in mind. First and foremost, going into this, there's a lot of things to keep in the forefront. I go back to the Il'gynoth whispers of, the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. From the instant I've not trusted how we're just completely led blindly by Magni, but maybe that's what the Void wanted you to doubt him along the way. But if you keep in mind, some of those whispers from the Emerald Nightmare, the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn, and a couple others. This cinematic is far more interesting. Let's not also forget N'Zoth was tempting or did corrupt the Forge as recent as the 8.3 quest. We come back to the Forge Origination to find them corrupting the control board. That NPC says you're too late. So whether we were or not, remains to be seen. So, of course, he's been after the Forge itself since Cata. I know I've said that in previous videos and as well on the podcast, Lichcast. Check that out on iTunes. Going over, of course, as the cinematic progresses, N'Zoth stops us. Basically, he's about to finish us off, and portal opens. He can see the heart chamber. And Magni is pleading to us to not give in to the lies, to remember we are a child of Azeroth, and her strength is our strength. And I think that's an important, very particular line when you go back to those whispers from Il'gynoth again and remember that he states, from the earth he draws strength, our earth, our strength. The way our earth, our strength is worded is a mirror to how he says her strength is your strength. Now, with that in mind, go back, watch it again. It's got a darker tone to it, I think. And, of course, the next thing, they aim through the heart at N'Zoth, let loose the power of the Forge. Another thing to keep in mind is, if you go back through that 8-3 quest line that opens up all the assaults and gets us to there and opens the visions, Magni figures out the focusing idea while we're turning the engine of Nalak Shah back on. For a brief moment in the in-game cinematic, it looks like he's shocked, or he pauses for a moment, and then when he gathers himself, he notices the idea that he later shares with us is the idea to focus the Forge. Yeah, it could have been there. Again, if he's been made a pawn, it's hard to fully trust anything, even this idea that he gets in the 11th hour to focus the Forge to kill N'Zoth. The same Forge again N'Zoth has been trying to corrupt and been after for years. Watching it all over again with those things in mind, I think it paints a different picture. It doesn't feel final to me. It doesn't feel like it's over and that's it and what? It ends like that? No, it makes me feel like there's more. It makes me feel like that, even though I know we're not getting an 835, 9-0 has still got to bridge battle to Shadowlands, and maybe there'll be something in there. I just want to make this real quick, throw out these ideas, like I said, with those in mind, go back, watch again, and see if it doesn't change your opinions. It certainly made them more interesting to me. So again, thank you for your time. If you like, please hit the like button. Comment below if anything you'd like to see in the future. Please subscribe. Check me out on Twitter. It's at Khalion, Khaliion. And of course, check out the podcast. It's Lichcast US. You can find it on iTunes. It's Lichcast. Thank you and have a great day.